Welcome to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast, where we aim to help fellow veterinary rehab therapists increase their knowledge and elevate their practice. I'm Megan Kelly.
And I'm Anae Lloyd. Together, we bring you the latest insights, research, and information in the field of veterinary rehabilitation.
This podcast is brought to you by Onlinepethealth, a leading continuing education membership for veterinary rehabilitation therapists. With Onlinepethealth, you'll have access to a wide range of online resources to help you stay up to date with the latest techniques, advances, and trends in the industry.
Our podcast features in-depth conversations with leading experts in veterinary rehabilitation. They share their own experiences and knowledge to help you improve your practice. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the field, our goal is to provide you with the tools and the insights you need to succeed.
So join us as we explore the exciting world of veterinary rehabilitation and help you take your practice to the next level. Hey vet rehabbers, in this episode of one of my Behind the Vet Rehab practices, I chat with Lorna Sandbach about her unique journey into the veterinary rehabilitation space. Now, Lorna is balancing a full-time job with shift work while building her rehab practice and even developing her own app. Her shift schedule gives some flexibility so that she can see clients, but the reality is she's still actually working 8-hour days and trying to make that transition to full-time rehab, both exciting and challenging. We dive into the realities of building a business alongside a demanding vet rehab job, the resilience it takes to keep going, and how imposter syndrome almost held her back. Lorna shares how a supportive friend gave her the push she needed to believe in herself and step forward with confidence. So this conversation is all about growth, grit, and finding your way in the vet rehab world while still staying true to your vision. The Vet Rehab Summit is happening on 8th of November 2025, and we're very excited to bring you a full day of expert insights, inspiration, and connection, and all from the comfort of your home. This year's theme is Dynamic by Design, where we explore the canine and equine anatomy and motion. We're going to be diving into biomechanics, muscle activation patterns, and movement science you can apply in practice right away. Now, free live tickets are available, but spots are limited. If you want access to the full lineup and all the session recordings afterwards, now's the time to register. You can check out the program and save your seat at vetrehabsummit.com. A quick word from our sponsor before we dive into today's topic. At Paw Prosper, we believe true pet well-being demands a three-pronged approach: prevention, support, and rehabilitation. Our brands are trusted by veterinarians, universities, and rehab facilities alike. So whether you're looking to train, rehabilitate, or help your patients age gracefully, our brands, Walking Pets, Help 'em Up, Respond Animal Therapeutics, Fitballs, Muffins, Halo, Sleepy Pod, and Canine Carts offer effective, innovative, and proven solutions. You can sign up today to receive a one-time special gift for all our podcast listeners with your next order. And you can go to the special link, pawprosper.com/OP8. And of course, you'll be able to see Paw Prosper and all their brands on the 8th of November at the Vet Rehab Summit. Right, over to my chat with Lorna. Hey, Lorna, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you got into the field of vet rehab?
So my name's Lorna and I live in New Zealand. Moved here 12 years ago from the UK. And I've always had animal stuff on the side, volunteered at rescues, things like that. But I've never worked with animals, and that's just all I've wanted to do. So a few years ago, my partner had life-changing surgery, and we kind of put our lives into perspective. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the courses. I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to work with animals. So I started from there, really. Did a canine massage course. And then every time I'd learn something, I'd find another topic that I just absolutely loved. And then I'd deep dive into that and learn a bit more. And then the same thing would happen. And then I ended up I'm still learning now. I'm still doing a course now, 2.5 years later. Every time I find something, find a little bit more to love. And yeah, that's how I began.
So you actually are working full-time, doing another profession, and you're building this up on the side, right? Your rehab clinic.
Yeah, so I work full-time. Lucky for me, I work shift work. So I always have random times, days off, which actually works very well for another business, because some days I'll have the morning off or the afternoon. And that's when I'll have the time to see clients rather than always working a 9 to 5 and working at nighttime, etc. And then I do work night shifts, and you know what? That is my most productive time for doing admin, online stuff, studying, things like that. So it's actually, although I'm busy, it's actually worked out very well for me that I've had both of those things that align well.
And then your hours for your full-time job, like, I mean, how many hours are you working a day? Because, for me, when I say you've got a full-time job and then you're fitting this in, and we get a chat about your app too, because you've also developed an app. I'm just wondering, how are you fitting all of this in?
Yeah, I'm crazy. I survive off coffee mainly. I work 8 hours a day, but usually I have a bit of downtime at work. So all my effort to clients in the morning or after work, and then, yeah, do my full-time job and have a bit of downtime there. So I probably work 10, 11 hours a day, and I live on a lifestyle block. So I also have 20 animals to feed when I get home. I'm
Wow,
crazy.
you are crazy. It sounds like a lot of work, but I know that it's because you've got a goal in mind and you're working towards
So
that.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so driven by this. Like I have worked full time and done other things before. Like I used to be a fitness instructor at the gym, for example. And I would always, yeah, go to work and then drag myself to the after. But this is so different. I'm so driven by it. I love it so much that it's kind of the other way around now. I love doing that, and then I drag myself to work afterwards to my full-time job.
And your goal obviously is to transition into the rehab full time.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm working with a business coach at the moment to try and streamline that, I suppose, do that in the most efficient way instead of working and just absolutely crushing myself working. I'm trying to streamline my online presence so that I can have a really nice like backup so that when I quit my job and go full time, I could do more in person without that stress and pressure, of just cutting it and going all or nothing. Hopefully, we should be able to slide into it nicely. That's the goal, anyway.
And how close are you to achieving that?
Um, it's winter here in New Zealand. My aim is to be able to quit my job in spring, summer. So I'm giving myself 6 months to really go for it. And also, there's nothing else to do in the winter, right? It's cold and rainy, so I may as well put everything into this.
Might as well work.
Yeah.
So I love that you're diversifying your income too. I think that's one of the lessons that a lot of us learned in COVID. A lot of
Yeah.
people had very busy practices. That was their main source of income. And for the ones that had already diversified and had another source of income, and online is always a great option. Um, that for them it was a whole lot less stressful going through COVID. The ones that were just in practice, suddenly they just had no income. What made you start to think about something online? You already obviously had your full-time job and now you're building this. What was the trigger that said, "Oh, I'm going to do something online"?
Definitely, what attracted me to online is that I feel like I can put a lot more into it because I don't have to drive for an hour to get to someone's house before I can even start the practice. I could spend that hour researching or looking at someone's history a lot more in depth or putting together a better plan. So online was always more attracted to. And also just like you said, this is the way the world is going, right? Everything is online. And like I personally, I love to learn courses online and then go and do an in-person aspect from it. I like to do all my learning that I don't need to be in a classroom for online. And so why shouldn't we spend all of our lives like that? So that's definitely what started me off. Yeah, is just the attraction of being online.
And I mean, did you look at your different options of doing things online? Were you looking at, like having a website, doing some courses? Because I mean, your eventual thing that you've created is an app.
Yeah. For me, the app, I just for learning and because rehab and the app is more like things you can do every day for your dog, right? It's not so much my dog's had a surgery, I need something very specific. It's more for everyday pet owners to make changes that can do things for their dog's health. And I just think like on our phones, everything's in an app, right? You pull things out all the time for at the gym, for example, you get a workout on your phone. For recipes, I look straight on apps on my phone for notes, for lists, for everything. And so in my mind, I just thought that's the most efficient way to do it. And then when I looked into it, there really isn't that many options out there for like canine health stuff on apps. So I also thought that was quite a good gap in the market that maybe I could get into. But I have no experience of building an app.
Yeah, how did that go when you started? I mean, what was the process that you went through? Obviously, you had the idea, and I'm going to build the app, and then you had to
Yeah.
research, right? So how did you know like how to do it?
Well, I am absolutely not a coder, absolutely not I'm not really a technology person. Sometimes it's really embarrassing. Oh, I have an app, but I don't know how to like load a slideshow onto Zoom, you know? But I just, like I do with everything, did a deep dive, did loads of research, read every review in the world, and found some builders that were more like when you build a website these days, you build courses, you input it in, I upload the images, the videos, the content that I want, and someone else has done the background work building the app for me. And yeah, I found a really great program where I pay a monthly subscription, and I can upload new stuff all the time. I mean, there are limitations, like you can't really change the layout and things like that, but you can upload the color schemes and all my logos are on there and everything like that. So I guess, yeah, you take the hits are things like you can't really personalize it and change it. And it is simple, like it's for courses or guides or, things like that, as opposed to I can match dogs or have, yeah, as many technical aspects, but it works for me.
So what is the biggest struggle that you've had in creating this app?
Definitely learning everything. As soon as I get going, I'm fine, but that initial start, and also linking it to other things, like linking it to my emails and all of that stuff. That was all really big learning curve for me. Had to do a lot of deep diving into subjects and loads of YouTube. I watch YouTube all the time.
Love
And other
you.
than that, like advertising, I really struggled at first with, I just thought you could make a social media and get out there and everyone would see it. That is, you will know, absolutely not the case. And so I think the biggest progress I've made that came from a limitation was listening to every podcast and audiobook about marketing and social media and business, and really that is where I put my most effort in from stuff from my limitations, without a doubt. Yeah. And it's come a long way, but that's still something I'm working on today, having people see it and then actually use it and then
Yeah.
actually want to buy it is the next hurdle as well.
So maybe just share the name of it and where people can get it because obviously for a lot of the listeners this might be interesting for their clients. And then tell us how many members you've got because I know there's a free area and a paid area.
Yeah, so it's called Canine Health Hub, and you can find it in the App Store, on Google Play, and on Apple. You can jump onto my website, which is wellingtoncanineBodywork.com, or there's also links on my social media. And if anyone does want to talk about it, please send me a message. I love talking about this stuff because so often people say like, God, I can't believe you did that. And then I'm like, actually, it wasn't as hard as I thought. And I honestly believe that anyone can do it. So please send me a message if it's something you're considering. And I'll tell you all the highs and I'll tell you all the lows as well. I'll be very honest. I have 2,500 people that use the app, the free version. It's free to download. And there's a bit of free content on there. And then I have at the moment about 60, 70 subscribers that pay a monthly fee to get all content, everything on there. Yeah, and I'm working on growing that now with a business coach and also by still reading and listening to every book there is.
And tell me, do you know the breakdown of like what countries all your subscribers are from?
Yep, so you can log on to the back end through Apple and stuff to do that. And yeah, most of my audience, the majority is US, which is funny because I'm in New Zealand. And then that is closely followed by New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and a few in Europe. So yeah, I don't know how I managed to get into to the US market, but those are my biggest users. Yeah.
And are those mostly your paid users too?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you doing any paid advertising at all?
Not right now. I have dabbled with it in the past, but a lot of what I learn is that for paid to be helpful, you've got to nail organic first, right? If people don't like your organic content, then they're not going to like the paid either. So at the moment, I'm working on perfecting the organic content to know what I should put out there as paid advertising. And also, in addition to that, that is a whole other kettle of fish, learning how to use Meta advertising, Google advertising. So either I find more hours in the day to learn that, or I think I'll more than likely work with someone that is already an expert in it so that they can do a good job first time. But I want to have the right content down first.
And what social media platforms are you using mainly to promote it?
Instagram is where I mostly am. It's my favorite. I really enjoy using Instagram, and I honestly think that has helped me so much because it's not really a chore for me to jump on there and make content and use it. And I think that has shown in how I've gained traction. And then I do it automatically posts to Facebook. So I do suppose I engage a bit on Facebook. I find Facebook better for local services. Like I'll engage in community groups, and that's been really good for my local services, but not so much online. And then I do have a TikTok, but I think I'm too old to be good at TikTok.
I must say, TikTok's also not for me. I've tried, and more than once. I've been like said to my team, okay,
Yeah,
Gary Vaynerchuk says TikTok is the place to be. We got to be there.
yeah.
And then I
I
tried,
do
and I'm
post
just
to
like,
TikTok,
oh.
but I do post to TikTok, but I don't make anything special. I just regurgitate. I create my reels in an app, download them, and post the same thing to everything because I
Yeah.
can't be dealing with now figuring out how TikTok, who wants to see what on TikTok. So I just have a presence there, but I don't nurture it too much because I don't really enjoy it.
Great. So let's chat about your practice. So how many patients are you seeing now a week?
At the moment, I probably see 3 or 4 dogs a week around my full-time job. And we have quite a big area in Wellington. I live an hour away from the city, but there's lots in between. So I'm actually trying to really niche down and get my market a lot more local at the moment. So probably about only 3 to 4 dogs right now, but that is something else I'm working on growing currently,
And where do
as
you
if I
get,
have more time for it.
yeah, where do you get most of those clients from?
Lots of referrals. I have 3 or 4 vets that I work with. I have a really good friend that is a hydrotherapist and she only does hydrotherapy. So that actually complements me perfectly because that's pretty much the only thing I don't do. So we recommend each other a lot. Word of mouth has been great for me. And I do a bit of dog grooming and my partner is a dog trainer. So actually we get a few referrals kind of sideways from our other services as well, which has been great.
Yeah, it's nice to be involved in other sort of animal professions or have people that you know because like the hydro
Yeah.
refer to you and I'm sure your husband refers lots to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So the person that does the hydrotherapy, how far away are they from you?
She is about 30 minutes away from me, which is kind of perfect because it's right in the middle of the whole area that I serve.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I work with her. And there is a canine physio on Wellington's kind of split into 2 sides up different highways, one along the coast, one inland, and there's a physio on the other side to me as well. So often I do find that clients, if they're in the middle, they prefer to go one or the other. And so sometimes we'll recommend one another too.
Nice. So what's your capacity right now? Like, I mean, how many could you see considering your full-time job?
I reckon the most I could do in a week is probably 10 dogs, maybe more if I never have a day off, which I try and avoid. But yeah, 10. My aim for the end of this year is to see 20 a week without my full-time job, without having a full-time job. So if I can get it to half before that, before I leave, up to 10, that is my ideal.
I mean, I'm just thinking now, obviously you've got your app, which you're trying to build, and a full-time job and this. Like what is your main focus right now? Because, I know that you probably think, oh, if I can build the app up, I can have some income to be able to do this. But at the same time, if you're not putting your effort into building up the client base, then you're not going to get to
Yeah,
that. So, yeah,
yeah.
chat through that and how that's working for you, because I'm sure that's a little bit of a struggle that you're facing right now.
Yeah, and half the reason I got a business coach is because I'm very much like 10 ideas at once. And I want a business coach to tell me this is your direction. This is the direction you should be focusing on now, because my brain is very much like, I have an idea. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I don't focus. So that is the main reason I've got a coach. So my focus now is going to be to build the app, and then also online tailored plans. Like there's a lot of rural area in New Zealand where there isn't any rehabilitation. You can go to your local vet, and also they tend to specialize in like farm animals, livestock, more than pets. And so if my main goal is if I can target them with online stuff, then I can get a good base income. And that will also give me the freedom that when I do leave my job and build up my in-person base, I can really dedicate the time to it without the stress and the pressure of needing, an income to go with it to pay my mortgage. So my focus currently is online, the app and online tailored plans, definitely.
And there's no option to go like half day in the current job that you've got.
No, which is the worst possible situation, because
Yeah.
I enjoy the job and it's great income, but it's all or nothing. And so if I'm going to choose one, then I'm going to choose animals over that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really all or nothing.
Yeah. And tell me about the vets that are referring to you now. Are they like close in your area, and have you got good relations? Are there other therapists that you're competing with, or do you basically have the monopoly of your area?
So the beauty about this area is there really isn't any other offerings. So the vets that I work with have been really great because I don't know about where you are, but in New Zealand, it can be a little bit old school here. And animal rehab is kind of on the rise, and people are understanding more about it, but it's taking its time. So the vets that I've chosen to really put my effort into engaging with and like building a rapport with are ones that have recommended me. I take the vet nurses baking. I do everything I can bribery wise.
I love it.
And and yeah, the only other real person locally is the hydrotherapist. So between the two of us, we kind of get good referrals from vets and then refer each other as well. So I've been very lucky with that. That's another reason that I chose to keep learning, I suppose, and go and push a little bit more with the in-person stuff, is because there really isn't anyone else doing it. And as great as that is for me as a business, it's also pretty important for all the dogs that are getting surgery, all the dogs with arthritis. If there's no options for them, that's kind of really hard, So it's also
Yeah.
good for them.
So, what I found, if I think back into my practice, because I started off in a similar way to you. I was working as a vet, so full time as a vet, and then I started doing acupuncture on the side, in my spare time, because I mean, vets hours are like 12 hours a day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And most of the time I was actually seeing them on the weekends. So I would finish work at like 2 on a Saturday, and then I would see patients on Saturday and then Sunday morning too. And I slowly sort of built it. I was lucky in my vet practice that I was working for. They allowed me to take some time, cut my hours a little bit to grow
Mhm.
the acupuncture and rehab business. But I remember getting to a stage where even though I wasn't actually fully booked, like with my rehab side of things, um, I just got to a stage where I just knew I just need to make space to be able to grow it.
Yeah.
And it sort of seemed that because I was trying to do the two things, like I just wasn't growing the rehab side of things to where I wanted it to be. And I remember it was so scary taking that step to get rid of
Yeah.
income and just rely on this one source of income. So I just wanted to say I know where you are right now, and I know how you're feeling,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like you have a really, really good network already of people that will refer to you. It doesn't sound like you've got loads of competitors there, and it sounds like there's a massive need in your area. So just be brave when you take that step, and you'll know when you're ready. But sometimes when you just open up and create space, then
Yeah.
everything falls into place, and it's just so scary to take that big step.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something to be said too, just having that extra time. Like the amount that I'm driven now to put into it. But if I had 40 more hours a week, and also the energy of having 40 more hours a week without being sleep deprived and surviving on coffee, I just know that I would absolutely crush it. It's just that like I feel like I'm on the cusp
Yeah.
of doing it. So I also hope from coaching that that's someone else to kind of give me the, just push me off the edge. You can do it. Just go for it.
If you've got any advice for somebody that's just starting out, so they just qualified, that's just starting out in the vet rehab field, what advice would you give them?
Just believe in yourself more than anything, because I think one of the other things that's held me back more than anything is imposter syndrome and thinking, oh, like I haven't learned enough, I don't know enough, I'm not good enough. But if you've done that and you've done the work and you've done the courses and you've got it, just go for it, because people will believe in you. And as soon as you believe in yourself, and I've seen this, as soon as I started to believe in myself and thinking like, actually, I do know what I'm doing, and I actually, do know what to do here. As soon as I did that, saw better success with my patients, my business, and people referring me, because I just think I gave off such a better aura as well, like I really backed myself. But it took a friend of mine to say, you need to stop doing courses and you need to just go for it because you know what you're doing. And I was like, okay, maybe I should listen to her. And
It's
yeah, so
never
that's what I would
bad.
say.
Yeah, it's never bad to have a never stop learning, attitude. That's
Yeah,
my pet health. That's our saying. Vet rehabbers never stop learning. So
never.
as in our field, things are changing so much. So it's good.
Mm.
Keep doing the courses, but do believe in yourself and just go for it.
Yeah,
One of
yeah,
the things, which I also had when I started, and obviously where you are now and you're like one of the only therapists, for me, which was really hard, was being by myself. Is there a way in which you sort of communicate with other people in your field to like get guidance and learn from them?
yeah. I mean, the only official thing that we have is there is a dog professional meetup once a month, and that is everyone. There's dog trainers, dog groomers, rehab, vets, everyone like that all kind of comes together to meet up once a month to just, that's more like a coffee and a chat and a defuse for a while and a defuse. But other than that, it's more just me connecting to the people that I know, like my hydrotherapist friend, or I know loads of dog trainers, people like that. And just sometimes I think people just hearing you out, or you already instantly feel better, right? You don't even necessarily have to talk about the particular issue that you're having at the time. It's just when you talk to someone and have a little vent, then sometimes you're like, oh, it's not just me, it's everyone.
Yeah.
And that's been really good. And it is loads of other soul practitioners that yeah, I really do reach out and engage with.
Yeah, it's really good just to have some support, like especially in the field. And sometimes it's just about like having a tricky case. And like when that
Yeah.
imposter syndrome creeps in and you think, am I doing the right thing? Maybe somebody would be doing something better. Like, am I the right person to be seeing that patient? And then you just bounce it off with a colleague and say, I've got this tricky case, it's what I'm doing. And they might give you some tips or advice, but like most of the time they'll be like, you're on the right track, you're all good. And sometimes,
Yeah.
having that is really great.
Sometimes for me too, just talking things through out loud, then I'm like, ding, this is my light bulb moment. I'm like, oh, this is what I need to do, A, B, C, D. But sometimes it takes me verbalizing it out loud to someone else to realize that my brain is aligned and I have got this right in the right order.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that aspect to it as well.
Well, it's been so wonderful chatting to you and good luck with everything. Yeah, we're cheering you on here from
Thank
Cape Town,
you.
hoping that that app takes off and you're able to transition full time into vet rehab.
Yeah, hopefully this time next year we'll be having a totally different conversation.
Yeah, we'd love to get you on in a year's time. Let's do it and see whether you've reached the goals that you were hoping to.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Lorna. Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. I'm here every week talking to vet rehab therapists from all over the world about all things vet rehab. A big thanks to our sponsor, Paw Prosper. Their sponsorship allows us to be able to give this podcast to you for free, so please go and check them out at pawprosper.com. Don't forget to bookmark the next Vet Rehab Summit on Saturday, the 8th of November, 2025. Come and be a part of the world's largest online veterinary rehabilitation conference created specifically for you, the vet rehabber community. Online Pet Health members get VIP complimentary access to the Vet Rehab Summit. For more information about continuing education for vet rehabbers, you can go to onlinepethealth.com.